Hello and welcome to the McDonald's sessions. Today I'm here with Kris. We're going to talk about, I don't know what we're going to talk about. We didn't really talk about it before, but we're going to talk about Kris. Okay, so I'm here with Kris today, and we're going to talk about your history of running, how you got to where you are today, and just whatever else kind of comes to mind. So first, let's talk about your early athletic progress. Did you run in high school, or did you?
Softball.
Okay.
T-ball and softball. We were never on any teams that were any good, so I played for a couple years when I was younger, and then that was pretty much about the end of my athletic career.
Okay. So what did you do in high school if you didn't do any athletics?
Got in trouble.
Oh.
Yep, hung out with the wrong crowd, or was the wrong crowd, so yeah.
Okay. So after high school, then what happened after that? Did you go to college, or did you?
I waited 8 years to go to college, and then, so I was 26 by the time I actually went to college and started community college to be a math teacher.
Okay.
And then my husband's job transferred us to Kansas City, and so I finished up school at UMKC where I teach now. But no sports in college. You know, I was much older. I just worked after high school and just tried to make ends meet, and just found fitness just through trying to work out just to stay fit.
Okay, so just one day you decided, hey, I want to go to the gym, or how did that actually happen? Or do you remember? Sometimes people can't remember.
I was chunky in high school, and so I didn't want to be chunky anymore, and so I had a friend who had a membership to the YMCA, and so we went to the YMCA together, and that's how I started working out. When I came to Kansas City, I had friends that were running in Minnesota, where I'm from, and I was like, well, gosh, you know, they're pretty fit people. Maybe I should try running. And so I literally just started running around my apartment loop in Mission, just starting off, can I get one loop in? Can I run nonstop for 2 loops? And that's kind of how I got started.
So when you started at the YMCA, was it intimidating? Because I actually, when I first started, after I was in school, I started at the YMCA too, and I remember thinking that it was so crazy. Like, I was really intimidated, really nervous. I never felt like I fit in, never thought I was going to fit in there. So did you feel like that, or did you feel like good right away?
I felt okay because I had a friend that was doing it with me, and we would just go into the little room with the circuits where you just do the equipment, and so we would just go after work. And then I got comfortable with the place, so then I would start going without her, my friend Tamara. And then eventually I transferred to the YMCA in downtown St. Paul because I was working down there, and I just kind of caught the fitness bug. Like, it was my morning routine, get up, go to the gym, and go to work and that kind of stuff.
Okay. So once you started going to the gym, how did you get, you said you started 1 loop, but how did you get like your first 5K, or how did that go?
So my friend Danielle, at UMKC, she was a science tutor, I was a math tutor, so we worked in the same area. She signed up for the Groundhog Run, I think in 2010, which, if you're going to do a 5K, an indoor 5K is difficult because of the breathing.
Yep.
So the whole time I thought I was going to die.
It sounds so easy when
it's like, oh, temperature controlled, it's going to be fine, but it is so stuffy in the caves, and you don't realize that going into it. And so I don't even think I really trained for that. I just was like, sure, I'll do it, signed up for it, and then I don't think I ran another race till 2013. I did my first half marathon. That was something my husband's coworker roped me into, and so I did train for that one, had a treadmill at home, did a lot of miles on that treadmill, but then I started to get issues with my hip flexors about 11 miles into training. That was the highest I got up to, and then I had to back out for the race. So by the time I actually ran, and it was Ward Parkway,
Okay.
rocked the Parkway in 2013. Sure enough, I felt strong until about 10, 11 miles in, and then hot pokers right in the hip flexors, and I was like, please God, just let me finish. So I was done running after that for a really, really long time. So
Yeah. Okay, so we just got interrupted, I guess. We were going to get some more food. So you got injured at the Rock the Parkway the first time you did your half marathon. So how did you get convinced to go back again?
Well, I'm easily roped into things that seem like a good idea at first. And so one of the gals at my gym, I was a trainer at a gym for a couple years too. One of the trainers was like, hey, my friends are doing a 5K, do you want to do it? And so I was like, sure. And so me and my friend Jess ended up running, a few races here and there, but the problem, she kept getting injured this time. So I started really actually liking racing. And then I was like, well, if I'm going to continue to do this, I can't really depend on anybody else, so I have to depend on myself to sign up for these. And that was scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you remember, I remember when I first came back to the gym and I was working with my trainer, there was like a day where I remember looking at him and being like, I'm back. I'm like an athlete again. Do you remember the day where you were like, I'm a real runner? I mean, I remember being at races and being like, oh, I'm just doing this on the side. I'm not really a runner. It took me a long time, a lot of races to say that I was a runner. Do you remember like that? Did something click or?
I don't think it ever clicked. I just kept signing up for races, and then people told me I was a runner, and I was like, oh, okay, then I guess I'm a runner. Because I was just running for fitness for the most part, not doing races. I think like the first age group award I won was a cookie race a few years back, and it was because it was cold and rainy and not a lot of people were there. And I was like, oh my gosh, I actually won something, like this is kind of fun. So then that motivated me to sign up for another race, and couple races later I was like, God, I think I might try for another age group award, maybe I can win one, not knowing that the 40 to 45 year old age group is really hard. There are some fast ladies out there, but that just kind of motivated me to kind of keep trying. And eventually I was just signing up for a lot of races.
Cool. So you said you got first place in the age group?
No, third place.
Third place?
Third place.
Or cookie race?
Yes.
So did that kind of hook you think? Or because I know like Katie and me, and there's some people who are just like into the medals. Like what is your like hook to a race?
Basically, my friends are doing it. I'm very easily peer pressured. Amanda, this is directed at you. She'll literally be like, hey, are you signed up for this one? And I'll be like, no, okay, I'll sign up. And I do the same thing to her, so let's be honest. But I think it's my social time, teaching all week, and that doesn't leave a lot of time, with fitness in the morning, working all day, and then, going to bed early at night. My social time is on the weekends, and that's when I see my running friends, and I think that's what makes me keep signing up for these things. Plus, they're a bunch of really bad influencers, because they're the ones, Josh, looking at you, that'll be like, you can totally run a marathon. And so it's just having, that fun joking like with your friends, but like they kind of like put a bug in your ear sometime, like, hey, you could totally do this, and they believe in you, and then you start to believe in you, and then pretty soon you're signed up for Chicago and running your marathon. So
I mean, you got to watch out too, because if you get around Sydney and me,
oh my God, I know.
You don't know what we'll try to convince you to do.
No ultras.
Everyone says that at first, and then we get them to go. So it's only a few more miles past the marathon.
Gosh, no, I never again. Until grandma's in June. But yeah, no, not an ultra runner.
We'll see.
Body won't cooperate.
So, do you have a favorite race that you've done, like a memory that really stands out as either the most fun you had or like the most proud you were?
Recently, last year, I ran the Maui Half Marathon in April, and that one was just a beautiful race. It was a beautiful vacation, a lot of good memories from that, but probably the one I'm most proud of is Stillwater Half Marathon in Minnesota that I ran last, I think it was May. Unfortunately, I didn't know at the time. I was coming down with COVID that day, but I PR'd a half marathon that day. I wasn't symptomatic in the morning, but boy, by the end of that day, I was feeling like a truck run over me. But that one I was proud of just because I didn't know I could push my body to hit that time.
Kind of like running an ultra.
No, thank you, Kris.
So the marathon, is that how many marathons have you done?
One. Chicago this year. Like
just recently
a
then.
month-ish ago, yes.
So how did that go?
Well, I started dealing with injury is the name of the game right now. I've been injured since July. Started with a hamstring issue. It's been hips and all that stuff. So just trying to finish training. Only got up to about 16 miles. And I, again, just tight hips, hamstring. So Chicago, I finished. Me and Josh finished. He promised to run with me the whole time because I was really worried about even finishing, knowing that I was injured and things weren't getting better. So we finished in 4:18. Totally proud of that. We ran the whole time, stopped through aid stations, but like did not take a walk break intentionally or unintentionally. So I'm proud of that. Not that there's anything wrong with walk breaks, let me tell you, but I was just proud that we ran the whole time. But it hurt. It hurt mile 8. Josh was like, throw some icy hot or biofreeze on that hamstring. Yeah. And that stuff is great, but I kept having to apply it. So body's still injured and recovering, and now it's just about, can I just run 3 miles without hurting? So as much as I'm proud of the accomplishment, it's the lingering pain is making me, I haven't appreciated the fact that I accomplished that yet, if that makes sense.
I mean, it's hard to really appreciate any accomplishment like that because you always, almost every runner I've been around has been like, what's next? What am I going to do next? Mm-hmm. I mean, you build it up and then it happens. And you're like, when I cross the finish line, I'm going to be so happy. And it just doesn't happen that way. You're like relieved that you're done, but you're just ready to sign up for the next thing. And you have people all around you trying to convince you. But I can tell you, again, an ultra marathon, you get to eat a lot during it. So there's a big difference.
I love to eat.
And you can slow down and relax, but
I just have to prove that I can get my body through a half marathon right now without being in so much pain, and then we'll talk in 10 years.
Okay. So let's see. Your next race, you said you're going to try to do Grandma's Marathon?
Yes, that's the next big one.
And that's in June?
June 17th, 2023.
So what are you going to do to train for that, or have you started, or you thought about how you're going to do that?
I'm hiring a coach again. I was working with Nick Pig, but he is not doing coaching anymore.
Okay.
He's been in the business for a while and decided to just step down and do something else. So I'm shopping around for coaches now, if you know any good ones that are reasonably priced, because I definitely think I wouldn't have got as far as I did, wouldn't have completed Chicago with an injury, and having somebody to like coach me through like what I should do and how I should back off. So I think coaching is important. So whatever my coach tells me to do is what I'm going to do, but I am not planning on signing up with anybody until probably January or February, because I think my body needs a break. I'm old and falling apart. So we're just gonna kind of enjoy November and December and January and just kind of cut back and see if I can get this body healed up before I start doing distance again.
I've never had a coach, and I keep thinking about it, but I mean, I don't know. We'll see. So for your injuries and stuff, what have you been doing for your recovery?
Going to PT every week. I have a PT appointment later today, in fact. So going to go see my guy Dylan at Fit Muscle and Joint in Overland Park. He dry needles everything that ails me, and pokes and prods and pushes on things and hurts me, but at the end I always feel better. I've been seeing a chiropractor. I pretty much go once a week to each of those people. And then honestly just backing off of running right now. I think today I did a 3-mile jog and it still hurts, so it's just my weight training. I need to probably back off of that too, because it doesn't help doing deadlifts and then trying to run, but I just think I need to rest.
Have you done like biking or do anything like that that's like a little bit lower impact?
Thinking about that, I just need to get one of those little stands for the bike so I can just put a mountain bike in the basement, because if I shell out enough for a Peloton, I don't think my husband's going to be too happy with that.
I see the bikers all the time when I'm out running, and I have a rivalry with them because they always try to run me over.
Yes.
That's like I have a few pet peeves in running. One of them is when people don't say hi back.
Right?
I don't like it when people, especially when the bikers don't announce themselves when they're coming. That really is bad, because a lot of times I'm not really paying attention.
No.
And I mean, I can get hurt. They can get hurt. I mean, there's times where I'm like in the music and I'll like this. And I mean, I could just knock somebody off and it would really, really injure them. So when you get into these like half marathon is kind of your distance that
I
you've done a
love
lot.
half marathons, yes.
So how do you stay motivated during that, like around mile 10 or 11? Do you have mantras you tell yourself? Or like I was telling you, I think about my McDonald's
Yes.
drink. So what do you do to get to the end?
I am food motivated like a dog, so I am always looking forward to whatever overnight oats I brought with me, because I will always bring my food with me to a race too. But usually I just try to put it in perspective of something else that's hard that I did. I did do a trail run, Psycho Waco, and
I remember that. I was there.
Oh my God, that was the worst.
You're not doing that again?
I'm not a trail runner. That was way too much. But like at the end, I kept trying to tell Amanda, just embrace the suck. We're going to be what, it's fine. And then about 8 of the 10 miles, I think I was like, I just want this to be over.
Yeah,
and
especially around 8 mile 8.
Oh my God, so bad. So I just remind myself, I'm like, if you ran 10 miles, you're fine. But usually I get to 4 miles, and that's when it starts to be like, okay, you're enough miles in that it's like you need to start giving yourself the pep talks. And so I just remind myself, this is nothing but a St. Pat's 4 miler, or this is a 5K.
Yeah.
You've done 2 miles a million times. And so I just
Yep.
keep reminding myself, like, I've done these distances before. Your body will carry you through 2 hours of running. Like, you'll be fine.
It's good to have that, like enough experience where you can do that, because I mean, there's times when you go out and run and your head's not in it, and then sometimes your body's not in it.
Oh, God,
And
yes.
when they're both not in it, it's really
Yeah.
bad. It's
Yeah.
really hard, and then you just have to almost go by your experience. Like, I've done this before.
Yes.
I've run 2 miles, these 2 miles all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I definitely understand what you're saying there. So
That was Longview the weekend before last. My body was hurting. It was cold. Things were wet. Things were locking up. And there was that turnoff for the 10Kers that would have shaved, I think, 2 miles off. And I've never wanted to turn off early so bad in my life. But I was like, it's just 2 more miles than that. You'll be back to that spot soon.
Yeah.
But that was mentally and physically hard. And I'm still lamenting over that race. And I'm coming back for you next year, Longview.
that race was hard, especially the mud and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like hurting that race too, but it was a harder in the snow and stuff at the beginning.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready for that, and it was kind of the first. It wasn't the first time I've run in the cold this
Yeah.
year, but it was the first race where it was that cold and just snow in your face.
Yeah, it was rough.
Okay. Well, is there anything else that you would like to say about the running community, or are all these people, like all the people that we kind of hang around with, are these all people that you met through running?
Yes, 100%. Well, the funny thing too, I originally joined the KCRC running team in 2020 because I'm like, I want to meet friends that are interested in doing the same things I am. And then COVID hit.
Yeah.
And so I had a lot of virtual races that year. And then the pandemic eventually ended and we got to run together again, and I started meeting people and making friends, and that was my goal the whole time. And now it's like we've just got a crew, we go to coffee. The running community is some of the nicest people ever.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we joke around and like we compete with each other and stuff, but in all reality, like, we are good friends. We all support each other. We celebrate each other's accomplishments. You know, we check on each other if things aren't going well. And I mean, they're just genuinely great people.
Yep, I totally agree. I mean, that's definitely one of the best parts. I mean, it's weird for me too because I meet all these people I don't even know. They know me, so I'm like, hi. But then I get to know more people too, so it's fun. I mean,
You're never going to finish these interviews because you just meet more people every time.
That's true, because once today I posted the first one, and it was kind of the idea is to tell people, like, I've asked, you'd be surprised that people I've asked, like 2 or 3 people, and they were a little hesitant, didn't think they could carry an interview, I guess. Like, I was like, you would have, like, I haven't talked to anyone so far that hasn't been able to tell an interesting story, or, you know, everyone's got different reasons they run. So it's fun. I mean, I think
it's nice knowing other people's reasons for running too, because sometimes they're just dang inspirational.
Yeah, and they're all different. I mean, everyone is so different, but like a half marathon, I'd almost say there's no one at the start of a half, especially a marathon, that has some kind of motivation. They're not just there because they thought it would be fun to run 26 miles that day.
That's not fun.
Yeah, they have some reasons. So, yeah, I totally agree with. I mean, the people are so nice.
But again, bad influences. Very bad influences.
Yeah, so I think that's all we were going to cover today, Kris. So I would look forward to seeing you on your first ultra marathon soon, because you can do it. I mean, I've maybe done multiple, like over 10.
I don't even know how.
I don't either.
Oh my gosh. No, you are a unicorn, just FYI. Like,
No,
I literally don't even know how you do that.
I don't either. Like I mean, I was thinking the other day, my first 50K, I was so scared. Like I thought, maybe if I would go take a day and run 10 miles 3 times during that day just to see if I could do it. And I didn't think I could do it. And I mean, I know how you feel. I know how scary it sounds, but I mean, if I could do it, you can do it.
Okay.
So I expect to see you out there.
He's going to be bombarding my emails now with all these ultra signups. Just wait. No,
just
thanks,
do like the nice flat one, like at Ottawa or
oh, Jesus.
like right here at Osawatomie. I mean, I'll have Sydney, one of the Air ambassadors, contact you.
Oh my gosh.
But
he's not going to let this one go.
it is a completely different environment. Mm-hmm. You talk about like a marathon. It's just, I don't know if you've been around an ultramarathon to see what it's like. I mean, Waiko is kind of that way, how they had the aid stations.
Yeah.
It's like that, but that's a really tough one. Like you don't have to do that. You can do.
I think that one's so hilly. Like you're going up and down and around, and it was snowy, and
you can do like Loggerhead. Like,
I'm doing Loggerhead this weekend.
See?
So
like that's the same course. You just go a little bit further.
Just a little bit further. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Just 45 more miles down. It's fine. And turn around and come back.
It's fun. Okay. Well, thank you for joining.
Thank you.
I hope that this was helpful. Or not helpful. I hope it was entertaining, at least for you, to like go through your experience. And I love hearing everyone's story. It's so awesome. So thank you all for watching, and I will talk to you next time.